Good morning. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Country TV edition 16. Well, we did it. We announced citizenship for Entrepreneur Country. And specifically what that announcement has to do with you is that your data inside of the defined perimeter of Entrepreneur Country is owned by you. It's not about your consent. It's not about incentivizing you. It is a property right, an asset of you. We'll be continuing to roll out more information, taking inputs in consultation with the citizens of Entrepreneur Country over the course of the next few weeks, months, and years. We'll be telling you more about Entrepreneur Country citizenship and making some big announcements at the Entrepreneur Country Forum on the 19th of April. So do buy your ticket today. You'll be hearing about how developers can build to the Entrepreneur Country digital platform. And we've got some great speakers. Luke Lang of Crowdcube, Mark Worth of Stylus Media, Niall Murphy of Everything, which you heard us talk about a couple weeks ago with his co-founder, Andy Hobsbawm, talking about how products are becoming connected to the web. So Entrepreneur Country Forum on the 19th of April for the speakers, for the citizen updates, and for the great networking over at the Royal Institute of Great Britain. For those of you who've been watching for quite some time now, you'll know that there's two sides to my business. We have the Ariadne Capital Investment Platform, whereby we manage the Ariadne Capital Entrepreneurs Fund, and we've just announced the Ecosystem Economics Fund. But there is the Entrepreneur Country platform, which works with large companies who want to become digital platforms, who engage with the world's digital enablers, and it's in that troika between large companies, digital enablers, and individuals that Entrepreneur Country provides an operating platform, a market space for the digital startups that we invest in on the Ariadne Capital side to go to market. So this morning, I'm really pleased to introduce you to one of our Ariadne Capital portfolio companies, Autograph, founded and led by Henry Lawson.
Most companies have an inconsistent mishmash of first and third party data and are not quite sure of the permissions that third party data has associated with it. They've bought it from a variety of different brokers and other places over the years. The new European Union General Data Privacy Regulations, which come into law by the end of 2017, actually make most of that third party data illegal or very, very difficult to use and uneconomic to use. When I left Donovan in 2009, I left with a thesis. And the thesis was essentially that we could do a much better job of introducing people to the things that they're interested in by using data. There's thousands of companies of that thesis, but the unique part of my thesis was around getting the consumer engaged in the process of selection. Autograph we founded in 2011. In Seattle. We spent the first year actually developing the technology, the second year actually proving that technology really made a difference in consumers. Consumers did respond positively to that technology. And then we've really spent the last 2.5 years building the revenues of the business. And the core thesis remains the one that we started with, which is essentially allowing the consumer to control their profile, to create, edit, adjust, delete, but overall to control the profile that they actually hold. Because our core element is that the consumer owns the data. Once you give the consumer control of the data, the marketers get very nervous because the marketers say, hang on a minute, they're going to delete it and they're going to opt out. Actually, what we've shown is that 94 out of 100 consumers will in fact opt in, add more data, and in fact enjoy controlling their profile. And most importantly, they will respond to the content that business then provides to them 6 to 10 times more readily than they do if they don't control the data, because there's a level of trust that's been established. And we have clients in retail. So if you walk up and down Regent Street, then you can actually go and use this actively in the Regent Street application. We have a leading UK supermarket as a client. We also have a leading UK bank as a client. So we've got a whole series of different examples of where this approach of user-generated profiles makes a fundamental difference to the process of the whole marketing process. We think that Autograph is actually going to become the core profile that people are going to use on the net to be able to actually describe themselves in a safe way, anonymous if they choose, but allowing companies to personalize against what they're really interested in, rather than actually having a hard identity which the consumer wants to keep themselves.
One of the questions you might have as you're watching Entrepreneur Country is the future of Entrepreneur Country, of this digital universe, really all about the millennials? Well, let me tell you two opposing kind of cases. Case for the fact that it might be going towards the millennials. I met recently with a very successful global radio business who, in explaining how they became so successful over the course of the past 3 years, the CEO just admitted that he had fired 70% of the workforce and replaced them with people under 30. That doesn't really suit me, and it doesn't suit a comprehensive or sustainable future. But let me tell you about a book that I read in Mykonos last summer. Tech Bitch is a book about Imogen Tate. And she's more or less my age, and she runs a very successful publishing company. And surprise, surprise, her PA announces one day she's going to go to Harvard Business School. She comes back from Harvard Business School and wants to take over the whole place and says the future belongs to 28-year-olds like her who are all schooled up in digital. Well, turns out that Imogen's real business experience as a bona fide executive who's built her expertise, relationships, and knowledge running businesses actually wins out. So the future is not just down to the millennials winning. The future is down to decisions about how you're going to build out your digital skill set. So let me tell you what I did last year. I decided to publish exclusively to LinkedIn. In 1 year, I went from 15,000 to 115,000 followers on LinkedIn. And I did that because I wanted to find my natural followers. I wanted to reach out to people who are interested in the things that I have to say and invite them to go to Entrepreneur Country. And I did that through LinkedIn. That's just a small example of the kinds of decisions that you can make. The future does not belong to the millennials. The future belongs to the individuals who decide to seize it. Last week I went to Zurich, and as I found myself on the BA flight and scooting into the row behind this woman, I couldn't help but see that she was reading The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Now, Ayn Rand, if you don't know who she is a very important writer who wrote The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, two seminal masterpieces about the role of the individual in society. And we believe it's our role to bring great books to your attention, not because they're completely right or completely wrong or completely good or completely bad, but because they form part of the thinking that we want citizens to do about the role of the individual in society. We keep on making a lot of updates to the EntrepreneurCountryGlobal.com website. So if you're not going back regularly, ask you to do so. And you'll see under contributors that you have an invitation to participate. If you're a natural writer, please think about writing up case studies of David and Goliath dancing or examples of ecosystem economics in action. Equally, David and Goliath Must Dance dinners are happening all across the world. The agreement to do that, to share the thought leadership, the format for doing it is very straightforward and easy. You can pull down that agreement online and you can participate in the David and Goliath Must Dance dinners around the world. That brings us to the end of Entrepreneur Country TV this week. Thanks so much for tuning in, for sharing this with your network, and I'll see you next week.